The University of California, Irvine, is a public research university located in Irvine, California, and one of the 10 general campuses in the University of California system. UC Irvine is considered a public Ivy and offers 80 undergraduate degrees and 98 graduate and professional degrees. The university is designated as having very high research activity in the Carnegie classification of institutions of higher education, and in fiscal year 2013 had $348 million in research and development expenditures according to the National Science Foundation. UC Irvine became a member of the Association of American Universities in 1996, and is the youngest university to hold membership. The university also administers the UC Irvine Medical Center, a large teaching hospital in Orange, and its affiliated health sciences system. The University of California, Irvine, Arboretum, and a portion of the University of California Natural Reserve System. UCI was one of 3 new UC campuses established in the 1960s to accommodate growing enrollments across the UC system. A site in Orange County was identified in 1959, and in the following year the Irvine Company sold the University of California 1,000 acres of land for $1 to establish the new campus. President Lyndon B. Johnson dedicated the campus in 1964. 50 years later President Barack Obama spoke at UCI's 2014 commencement ceremony, held at Angels Stadium. The UC Irvine Anteaters compete in 18 men's and women's sports in the NCAA Division I as members of the Big West Conference and the Mountain Pacific Sports Federation. The Anteaters have won 28 national championships in 9 different team sports, 64 Anteaters have won individual national championships, and 53 Anteaters have competed in the Olympics. History Early years The University of California, Irvine was one of 3 new University of California campuses established in the 1960s under the California Master Plan for Higher Education with the San Diego and Santa Cruz campuses. During the 1950s, the University of California saw the need for the new campuses to handle both the large number of college-bound World War II veterans and the expected increase in enrollment from the post-war baby boom. One of the new campuses was to be in the Los Angeles area. The location selected was Irvine Ranch, an area of agricultural land bisecting Orange County from north to south. This site was chosen to accommodate the county's growing population, complement the growth of nearby UCLA and UC Riverside, and allow for the construction of a master-planned community in the surrounding area. Unlike most other University of California campuses, UCI was not named for the city it was built in. At the time of the university's founding, the current city of Irvine did not exist. The name Irvine is a reference to James Irvine, a landowner who administered the 94,000-acre Irvine Ranch. In 1960, the Irvine Company sold 1,000 acres of the Irvine Ranch to the University of California for $1, since a company policy prohibited the donation of property to a public entity. The university purchased an additional 510 acres in 1964 for housing and commercial developments. Much of the land that was not purchased by UCI is now held under the Irvine Company. During this time, the university also hired William Pereira and Associates as the master planner of the Irvine Ranch area. Pereira intended for the UC Irvine campus to complement the neighboring community, and the two grew in tandem. Soon after UC Irvine opened in 1965, the city of Irvine became incorporated and established in 1971 and 1975, respectively. UC Irvine's first chancellor, Daniel G. Aldrich, developed the campus' first academic plan around a College of Arts, Letters, and Science, a graduate school of administration, and a school of engineering. The College of Arts, Letters, and Science was composed of 20 majors and 5 divisions: biological sciences, fine arts, humanities, physical sciences, and social sciences. Aldrich was also responsible for implementing the wide variety of flora and fauna on the campus that fit the local Mediterranean climate zone, feeling that it served an aesthetic, environmental, and educational purpose. On June 20, 1964, U.S. President Lyndon B. Johnson dedicated UC Irvine before a crowd of 15,000 people, and on October 4, 1965 the campus began operations with 1,589 students, 241 staff members, 119 faculty, and 43 teaching assistants. However, many of UCI's buildings were still under construction and landscaping was still in progress, with the campus only at 75% completion. By June 25, 1966, UCI held its first commencement with 14 students, which conferred 10 Bachelor of Arts degrees, 3 Master of Arts degrees, and 1 Doctor of Philosophy degree. In 1965 the California College of Medicine became part of UC Irvine. In 1976, plans to establish an on-campus hospital were set aside, with the university instead purchasing the Orange County Medical Center around 12 miles from UC Irvine, in the city of Orange. Present day. As the largest employer in Orange County, UCI contributes an annual economic impact of $4.2 billion with an operating budget of almost $1.9 billion for 2008 including $328 million in extramural research funding. Numerous other educational and training opportunities are offered in numerous areas ranging from physician residency programs at UC Irvine's Medical Center to community certificate programs and other coursework through university extension. In 2011 to 2012, UC Irvine awarded 8,443 degrees, 6,766 bachelor's degrees, 1,105 master's degrees, 413 PhDs and EdDs, 102 MDs, and 57 JDs. Future growth. As a part of its long-term efforts to grow to full size, UC Irvine has implemented construction projects that will accelerate the campus build-out and employ the remainder of the university's land grant. The exponential increase in construction activity is a part of the strategy for academic development at UCI through 2015, a master plan that outlines the vision of making UCI a first-choice university for college applicants nationwide. This increase also spawned a popular backronym of UCI, under construction indefinitely. Campus. The layout of the core campus resembles a rough circle with its center being Aldrich Park, lined up by the ring mall and buildings surrounding the road. To further emphasize the layout, academic units are positioned relative to the center, wherein undergraduate schools are closer to the center than the graduate schools. Aldrich Park is planted with over 11,120 trees, including 33 species of eucalyptus. 2 ceremonial trees were planted in 1990, one for Arbor Day and the second for former Chancellor Daniel Aldrich who had died that year. On the first anniversary of the September 11 tragedies, the Chancellor planted a bay laurel tree in remembrance of the heroes and victims of the events of September 11, 2001. The tree itself was a gift from the UCI Staff Assembly. Aldrich Park is the site for a Euro-OE Ways Goose, a medieval student festival held each year in conjunction with the Euro-OE Celebrate UCI Euro Open House. It also hosts many extracurricular activities. Ring Mall is the main pedestrian road used by students and faculty to travel around the core campus. The road measures up to a perfect mile and completely encircles Aldrich Park. Most schools and libraries are lined up by this road with each of these schools having their own central plaza which also connects to the Aldrich Park. Other areas of the university outside of the core campus such as the School of Arts are connected by 4 pedestrian bridges. Beyond the core campus and the bridges, the layout of the campus is more suburban. Surroundings. Irvine, California consistently ranks as the safest city in America. UCI is close to the beaches, mountains, and attractions of Southern California. Disneyland is approximately 20 minutes away by car. While the university is located in Irvine, the campus is directly bounded by the city of Newport Beach and the community of Newport Coast. The western side of the campus borders the San Diego Creek and the San Joaquin Freshwater Marsh Reserve, through which Campus Drive connects UCI to the 405 freeway. The northern and eastern sides of UCI are adjacent to Irvine proper. The eastern side of the campus is delineated by Bonita Canyon Road, which turns into Culver Drive at its northern terminus and offers links to the San Joaquin Hills Toll Road and 405 freeway, respectively. Additionally, UCI's southern boundary is adjacent to the San Joaquin Transportation Corridor. There exists a North Campus that houses the Facilities Management Department, the Faculty Research Facility, Central Receiving, Fleet Services, the Air Pollution Health Effects Laboratory, and numerous other functions. It is located next to the UCI Arboretum. Both the North Campus and the Arboretum are located about 1 mile from the main campus. William Pereira's original street layout for the region surrounding the university had a wingnut-shaped loop road as the main thoroughfare, which twice crossed the campus. However, the Irvine Company's development plans expanded before it could be completed, and portions of California, Carlson, Harvard and Turtle Rock roads today constitute segments of what would have been the loop road. Despite the suburban environment, a variety of wildlife inhabits the university's Central Park, open fields, and wetlands. The university is home to mountain lions, hawks, golden eagles, great blue herons, squirrels, opossums, peregrine falcons, rabbits, raccoons, owls, skunks, weasels, bats, and coyotes. The UCI Arboretum hosts a collection of plants from California and Mediterranean climates around the world. The rabbits in particular are very numerous and can be seen across campus in high numbers, especially during hours of low student traffic. Architecture. The first buildings were designed by a team of architects led by William Pereira and including A. Quincy Jones and William Blalock. The initial landscaping, including Aldrich Park, was designed by an association of 3 firms, including that of the noted urban landscaping innovator Robert Herrick Carter. Aldrich Park was designed under the direction of landscape architect Gene Uematsu, and was modeled after Frederick Law Olmsted's designs for New York City's Central Park. The campus opened in 1965 with the inner circle and park only half completed. There were only 9 buildings and a dirt road connecting the main campus to the housing units. Only 3 of the 6 spokes that radiate from the Central Park were built, with only 2 buildings each. Pereira was retained by the university to maintain a continuity of style among the buildings constructed in the inner ring around the park, the last of which was completed in 1972. These buildings were designed in a style which combined sweeping curves and expressionistic shapes with elements of classic California architecture such as red-tiled roofs and clay-tiled walkways, and distinctive white railings evoking the deck of an ocean liner. These buildings featured an innovative structural design that freed the interiors from support columns in order to allow future alterations of their floor plans. Construction on the campus all but ceased after the administration building, Aldrich Hall, was completed in 1974, and then resumed in the late 1980s, beginning a massive building boom that still continues today. This second building boom continued the futuristic trend, but emphasized a much more colorful, postmodern approach that somewhat contradicted the earthy, organic designs of the early buildings. Architects such as Frank Gehry, Robert Venturi, Eric Owen Moss, James Sterling and Arthur Erickson were brought in to bring the campus more up to date. The recession in the early 1990s along with internal politics led to a change in direction, due to the reduced capital budget, and changing attitudes towards architectural innovation at the university. This in turn led to a contextualist approach beginning in the late 1990s, combining stylistic elements of the first 2 phases in an attempt to provide an architectural middle ground between the 2 vastly different styles. Gehry's building was recently removed from campus to make way for a new building, with a design that has been called a big beige box with bands of bricks. In 2009 the Humanities Gateway building, designed by Curtis W. Funtress, was opened. Its curvilinear design marked a return to the sculptural treatment of concrete begun by Pereira. As of 2005, the campus has more than 200 buildings and encompasses most of the university's 1,525 acres. The campus is in the midst of a $1.1 billion construction campaign. Libraries and study centers. UCI is noted for having many excellent special collections and archives. In addition to holding a noted critical theory archive and Southeast Asian archive, the libraries also contain extensive collections in dance and performing arts, regional history, and more. Additionally, Langson Library hosts an extensive East Asian collection with materials in Chinese, Japanese, and Korean. Nearly all departments and schools on campus complement the resources of the UC Irvine libraries by maintaining their own reading rooms and scholarly meeting rooms. They contain small reference collections and are the choice for more intimate lectures, graduate seminars, and study sessions. There is also the large Gateway Study Center located across from Langson Library, one of the university's original buildings and under the custody of UC Irvine Libraries. Having served formerly as a cafeteria and student center, it is now a dual-use computer lab and study area which is open nearly 24 hours. The UCI Student Center offers a large number of study areas, auditoriums, and 2 food courts, and therefore is one of the most popular places to study on campus. UC Irvine also has a number of computer labs that serve as study centers. The School of Humanities maintains the Humanities Instructional Resource Center, a drop-in computer lab specializing in language and digital media. Additionally, UCI maintains 5 other drop-in labs, 4 instructional computer labs, and a number of reservation-only smart classrooms, some of which are open 24 hours. Other popular study areas include Aldrich Park, the Cross-Cultural Center, the Locus, and plazas located in every school. Tunnels an underground network of tunnels runs between many of the major buildings on campus and the central plant, with the major trunk passage located beneath Ring Mall. Smaller tunnels branch off from this main passage to reach individual buildings, carrying electrical and air conditioning utilities from the central plant. These tunnels have been the subject of much campus lore, the most popular story being that the tunnels were constructed to facilitate the safe evacuation of faculty in the event of a student riot. The main tunnel actually appears above ground in the form of an unusually thick bridge near the engineering tower, in an area where Ring Mall crosses between 2 hills. Governance: like other University of California campuses, UC Irvine is governed by a chancellor who has significant authority over campus academic and planning affairs. The chancellor, in turn, is nominated by and is responsible to the regents of the University of California and the UC President, 1962 Daniel G. Aldrich, 1984 Jack W. Peltason, 1993 Laurel L. Wilkening, 1998 Ralph J. Cicerone, 2005 Michael V. Drake, 2014 Howard Gilman. After the Chancellor, the second most senior official is the Executive Vice-Chancellor and Provost. He serves as the university's chief academic and operating officer. Every school on campus reports to the Executive Vice-Chancellor and Provost through a dean, and all other academic and administrative units report to his office through a Vice-Chancellor or Chief Administrator. A partial list of these units includes campus recreation, intercollegiate athletics, planning and budget, student affairs, UC Irvine Libraries, UC Irvine Medical Center, and University Advancement. The Executive Vice-Chancellor and Provost also governs the Faculty Senate. Academics Academic units UC Irvine's academic units are referred to as schools. As of the 2013 to 2014 school year, there are 12 schools, 2 programs, 1 department, and various interdisciplinary programs. The College of Health Sciences was established in 2004, but no longer exists as a separate academic unit. On November 16, 2006, the UC Regents approved the establishment of the School of Law, with an expected opening in fall 2009. The School of Education was established by the Regents of the University of California in 2012. Supplementary education programs offer accelerated or community education in the form of summer session and UC Irvine Extension. Currently, the academic units consist of Claire Trevor School of the Arts, Francisco J. Ayala School of Biological Sciences, Paul Mourage School of Business, School of Education, Henry Samueli School of Engineering, School of Humanities, Donald Bren School of Information and Computer Sciences, School of Law, School of Medicine, Program in Nursing Science, Department of Pharmaceutical Sciences, School of Physical Sciences, Program in Public Health, School of Social Ecology, School of Social Sciences. Research organizations To complement its mission as a research university, UCI hosts a diverse array of nationally and internationally recognized research organizations. These organizations are either chaired by or composed of UCI faculty, frequently draw upon undergraduates and graduates for research assistance, and produce a multitude of innovations, patents, and scholarly works. Some are housed in a school or department office. Others are housed in their own multi-million-dollar facilities. These are a few of the more prolific research organizations at UCI: Beckman Laser Institute, California Institute for Telecommunications and Information Technology, Center for Complex Biological Systems, Center for Global Peace and Conflict Studies, Center for Cognitive Neuroscience, Regional Center of Excellence for Biodefense and Emerging Infectious Disease, Center for Unconventional Security Affairs, Chow Family Comprehensive Cancer Center, Institute of Transportation Studies, National Fuel Cell Research Center, Irvine Research Center, Center for the Study of Democracy, Center for Health Policy Research, W.M. Keck Center for Accelerator Mass Spectrometry, Sue and Bill Gross Stem Cell Research Center, Institute for Genomics and Bioinformatics, Center for Machine Learning and Data Mining, University of California Transportation Center. Rankings and distinctions UC Irvine is considered a public Ivy. Money magazine ranked UC Irvine 13th in the country out of the nearly 1,500 schools it evaluated for its 2015 Best Colleges ranking. The Daily Beast ranked UC Irvine 39th in the country out of the nearly 2,000 schools it evaluated for its 2013 Best Colleges ranking. For 2015 to 2016, U.S. News & World Report ranked UC Irvine tied for 39th among national universities and tied for 9th among public universities in the U.S. In addition, many of UCI's graduate programs consistently receive top 50 rankings from U.S. News & World Report, earning distinction in literary criticism and theory, criminology, law, clinical training, organic chemistry, English, chemistry, sociology, computer science, physics, psychology, law, education, biological sciences, earth sciences, history, engineering, business part-time MBA, political science, mathematics, medicine research, and economics. Times Higher Education ranked UCI 4th in the world and 1st in the U.S. among the top universities under 50 years of age in 2012. UCI was ranked 7th in the world and 1st in the U.S. again for 2014. In 2014, Washington Monthly ranked UCI 7th out of the top 100 affordable elite colleges and universities. In 2015, Kiplinger ranked UCI 30th out of the top 100 best value public colleges and universities in the nation, and 4th in California. In 2015, Sierra Magazine ranked UCI 1st in its Coolest Schools in America list for campus sustainability and climate change efforts. According to the Daily Beast, UCI ranked 16th among OE the 100 happiest colleges in 2010. In 2013, CBS News Money Watch listed UCI as the 11th happiest public university, based on the greatest percentage of freshmen who remain for their sophomore year. Notable faculty and Nobel laureates. 3 researchers from UCI's faculty received the Nobel Prize during their tenure at UCI: Frank Sherwood Rowland, Frederick Raines, and Erwin Rose. Dr. Rowland's Nobel-winning research was conducted exclusively at UC Irvine, along with fellow prize winner Mario J. Molina. Erwin Rose received the Nobel Prize for his work on biological proteins. F. Sherwood Rowland helped to discover the harmful effects of CFCs on the ozone layer, while Frederick Raines received the Nobel Prize for his work in discovering the neutrino. UCI is the first public university to have 2 Nobel laureates who received their prizes in the same year. Additionally, 3 faculty members have been named National Medal of Science recipients. Lester Walter Milbrough, a professor of political science and the recipient of the Lifetime Achievement Award from the American Political Science Association, spent 3 winter quarters teaching and lecturing at UCI. Thomas Keneally was a visiting professor at UCI where he taught the graduate fiction workshop for 1 quarter in 1985. From 1991 to 1995, he was a visiting professor in the writing program at UCI. He is most famous for his book Schindler's Ark, which won the Booker Prize and is the basis of the film Schindler's List that was directed by Steven Spielberg. In January 2009, UCI professor Reg Pennayer won the Faraday Medal for his research with nanowires. Henry W. Sobel was awarded the Bruno Pontecorvo Prize in 2009 by the Joint Institute for Nuclear Research in Dubna, Russia for his work on neutrino oscillations. Evolutionary biologist Francisco J. Ayala received the 2010 Templeton Prize for exceptional contribution to affirming life's spiritual dimension. Learned Societies affiliations, American Academy of Arts and Sciences, American Association for the Advancement of Science, American Philosophical Society, American Physical Society, Howard Hughes Medical Institute, American Psychological Association, Institute of Medicine, National Academy of Engineering, National Academy of Sciences, National Academy of Education. Admissions UC Irvine is categorized by U.S. News & World Report as more selective for college admissions in the United States. It was the sixth most selective University of California campus for the freshman class entering fall 2015, as measured by the ratio of admitted students to applicants. UC Irvine received 71,768 applications for admission to the fall 2015 incoming freshman class. 27,764 were admitted. Fall 2015 enrolled freshmen had an average high school GPA of 3.94. While the middle 50% range of SAT scores were 490 to 620 for critical reading, 550 to 690 for math, and 510 to 620 for writing. The incoming 2015 freshmen were predominantly from Los Angeles County, followed by Orange County, the Bay Area counties, San Bernardino County, Riverside County, and San Diego County. The choice to offer admission is based on the University of California's Comprehensive Review Program. It considers a candidate's personal situation, community involvement, extracurricular activities, and academic potential in addition to the traditional high school academic record, personal statement, and entrance examination scores. While residency is not a factor in admission, it is a factor in tuition expenses, with out-of-state residents spending more annually than California residents. State law prohibits UC Irvine from practicing affirmative action in its admissions process. The most popular major for freshmen in 2012 was a major in biological sciences, followed by engineering, undecided undeclared, social sciences, physical sciences, humanities, business, information and computer sciences, social ecology, arts, pharmaceutical sciences, health sciences, other, and nursing. Student life Greek life UCI's Greek life began in 1973 with 3 sororities and 3 fraternities. Today it is a community with over 2,200 students in 26 sororities and 21 fraternities representing a wide range of ethnicities, cultures, and backgrounds. There are 3 major overhead bodies on the campus that govern Greek life: Interfraternity Council, the Pan-Hellenic Association, and the Multicultural Greek Council. The IFC governs over the 13 chapters which are considered Greek by the National Interfraternity Council. The Pan-Hellenic Association has 10 NPC chapters and 2 local chapters. The Pan-Hellenic community was recently opened up for expansion in fall 2008. Where they welcome Sigma Kappa to the campus. The Multicultural Greek Council was first established in 2009, where MGC currently governs 20 multicultural Greek chapters. Major events and programs in the Greek community include Songfest, All Greek Conference, Greek Week, Bang, and risk management programs. Fraternities and sororities. Clubs and organizations With over 650 student clubs and organizations on campus, students can readily find friends who share their interests, whether academic, multicultural, political, religious, service, social, or athletic. Campus activities throughout the year include cultural nights, arts performances, and live music at Andy Plaza Euro special events such as Summerland, Weisgoose, Shocktoberfest, and Earth Day are held yearly. The Psi chapter of Frateers, a non-exclusive, non-profit social service club, was installed at UCI in 1967. Between 1924 and 1967, 23 chapters of Frontiers were installed in universities across North America. Residential accommodations UC Irvine has a number of residential options for students interested in living on campus. Part of UCI's long-range development plan involves expanding on-campus housing to accommodate 50% of all UCI students. The on-campus housing communities for undergraduates are Mesa Court, Middle-earth, Arroyo Vista, Campus Village, Vista del Campo Norte, Camino del Sol, and Puerta del Sol. Graduate students also have access to the on-campus housing communities, Palo Verde and Verano Place. UCI's two freshman dormitory communities are Mesa Court and Middle-earth. Mesa Court was the first housing community at UCI. It features a volleyball court, 2 basketball courts, a community center, a recreational center, and the Mesa Academic Center. Middle-earth comprises 24 residence halls, 2 dining facilities, a student center, and several resource centers. The name of each building in Middle-earth is named after a character or a place from J.R.R. Tolkien's The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. Middle-earth was built in 3 phases. The first phase was built in 1974 and it includes 7 halls: Hobbiton, Isangard, Loren, Mirkwood, Misty Mountain, Rivendell, and the Shire, along with a separate head residence manufactured home called Bag End. The second phase was built in 1989 with 13 more halls: Ballan, Harrowdale, Whispering Wood, Woodhall, Cormindon, Grey Havens, Oldall, Rowan, Gondolin, Snowburn, Elrond, Shadowfax, and Cunha. The third phase was built in 2000 with 4 halls: Crickhollow, Evenstar, Oakenshield, and Valamar. Each hall houses about 50 to 80 students, although Cunha was built with 60 single-suite rooms which mainly house graduate students. There are 42 houses located in Arroyo Vista, of which 9 are sorority houses and 5 are fraternity houses. The sorority houses located in Arroyo Vista are Alpha Phi, Delta Delta Delta, Delta Gamma, Gamma Phi Beta, Pi Beta Phi, Alpha Chi Omega, Kappa Kappa Gamma, Sigma Kappa, and Kappa Alpha Theta. The fraternity houses located in Arroyo Vista are Sigma Phi Epsilon, Sigma Chi, Phi Gamma Delta, Kappa Sigma, and Sigma Alpha Epsilon. Arroyo Vista also features many themed houses based on academic or social interests. As of fall 2012, Arroyo Vista started the first-year experience, and now houses first-year students within 6 of its houses. Students living in Arroyo Vista live in complexes that may be called houses, but have dorm-like qualities. Apartment-style on-campus housing at UCI can be found at Vista del Campo Norte, Camino del Sol, and Puerta del Sol. VDC has single rooms available for undergraduates, while VDC Norte has both single rooms and double rooms available. Camino del Sol features single rooms, a community center, a fitness center, and a pool. In fall of 2012, Camino del Sol opened housing to incoming first-year students as an option instead of dorm living. Each housing community is served by ASUCI shuttles that regularly travel to the main campus. UCI off-campus housing options vary, based on a student's preferred living arrangements and budget. However, a common denominator for off-campus apartment housing in Irvine, as well as nearby Newport Beach, Tustin, and Costa Mesa is the fact that most accommodations are maintained by the Irvine Company. Athletics. UC Irvine sports teams are known as the Anteaters and the student body is known as Entourage. They participate in the NCAA's Division I, as members of the Big West Conference and the Mountain Pacific Sports Federation. UC Irvine fields nationally competitive teams in baseball, basketball, cross-country, soccer, track and field, volleyball, and water polo. The university has won 28 national championships in 9 different sports, and also has had 64 individual national champions, 53 Olympians, and over 500 All-Americans. The university's most recent NCAA Division I national championship was won by the men's volleyball team on May 4, 2013 against BYU at Pauley Pavilion in Los Angeles. UC Irvine men's volleyball has become one of the nation's most elite volleyball programs, having won 4 national championships in 2007, 2009, 2012, and 2013 respectively. UC Irvine has won 3 NCAA Division I men's water polo titles, with championships in 1970, 1982, and 1989. UC Irvine baseball won back-to-back national championships at the NCAA College Division College World Series and the NCAA Division II College World Series in 1973 and 1974. Antica baseball has since moved to the NCAA Division I level and has become one of the premier baseball programs on the West Coast. The 2007 baseball team finished third at the College World Series, and in 2009 the baseball team earned a number 1 national ranking in NCAA Division I polls from Baseball America and Collegiate Baseball for the first time in school history, as well as a national seed and the right to host an NCAA regional. The 2014 baseball team returned to the College World Series and finished 5th after a remarkable postseason run through the NCAA Regionals and NCAA Super Regionals after being one of the last teams selected for the NCAA tournament. In 2015, for the first time, UC Irvine appeared in the NCAA Men's Division I Basketball Championship. It was narrowly defeated in a first-round tournament game by Louisville, 57-55. Anteater as mascot. The anteater was chosen in 1965 when students were allowed to submit mascot candidates, which would be voted on in a campus election. 3 undergraduates named Pat Glasgow, Bob Ernst, and Skylar Hadley Bassett were credited with choosing the anteater and designing a cartoon representation, having been disappointed with other candidates such as a roadrunner, unicorn, seahawk and golden bison. The original anteater design was based not on the Johnny Hart comic strip, BC, but on a somewhat less wholesome symbol, the Playboy bunny. In November 1965, the UCI students officially voted on the anteater, and many embraced their far-out mascot. In a special follow-up election, students opted for a mascot based on the BC anteater over the Playboy version. Since it was original and slightly irrelevant, it became the mascot of UC Irvine after winning 56% of the vote, beating a close second with the choice of none of the above. The anteaters are not to be confused with the aardvark, an African animal that also eats ants. The anteater has grown to become a beloved mascot, and is the inspiration for many of UCI's athletic and campus spirit traditions. School chants and cheers feature the word zot, which was the noise Johnny Hart's Peter the Anteater made while eating ants. A hand signal called Ripper Meters was created by Blake Sasaki and Dennis Wisco in 2001. When attacked, an anteater sits in a tripodal position with its hind feet and tail and tears and rips at its predator. The hand signal is done by touching the tips of the 2 middle fingers with the thumb, and sliding the thumb back, making the pinky and index finger the ears and the fingers in the middle the snout of the anteater. In August 2007, a small stuffed Peter accompanied astronaut Tracy Caldwell on the Space Shuttle Endeavour mission Streets 118. Following the 2015 NCAA basketball tournament, Peter the Anteater was named the Mascot Madness 2015 tournament winner, and was even featured on an episode of Conan, the late-night show hosted by Conan O'Brien. Controversy. UC Irvine is the last UC campus that subcontracts its food services. In summer of 2004, UCI signed a contract with Aramark, a food services corporation, granting it control of nearly all residential dining facilities and restaurants on university property. This includes UCI's 3 dining halls and 3 on-campus restaurants. ASUCI, which is partially responsible for negotiating UCI's food services contract, has justified the decision to offer Aramark its business with the argument that Aramark has pledged to invest millions of dollars into the university's food service infrastructure. Critics argue that offering one corporation the university's food services contract is a de facto monopoly. It is also argued that the management of food services by Aramark leads to low-quality food and poor customer service, and that support of Aramark condones its poor employee relations record. Many full-time Aramark employees qualify for public assistance and rely on Medi-Cal, low-income housing, and other social programs. Though these workers prepare and serve food on the UC Irvine campus in residential dining halls, they are not afforded the same rights as UC service employees. Aramark Corporation prohibits its workers from unionizing to fight for higher wages. Proponents argue that maintaining one entity for food service lowers costs for the university, which in turn lowers costs for students. Also, the fact that food service workers are not UC employees further lowers costs for the university. Furthermore, UCI notes the large investment Aramark is making as in dining infrastructure, which will outlast its current contract and support UCI's long-range development plan. Law School Dean in hiring an inaugural dean of the UC Irvine School of Law, which opened in 2009, the university approached Professor Erwin Chemerinsky, a well-known legal scholar in constitutional law and liberal commentator. After signing a contract with Chemerinsky on September 4, 2007, the hire was rescinded by UCI Chancellor Michael V. Drake because he felt the law professor's commentaries were polarizing, and would not serve the interests of California's first new public law school in 40 years. Drake claimed the decision was his own and not the subject of any outside influence. The action was roundly criticized by liberal and conservative scholars who felt it hindered the academic mission of the law school, and disbelief over Chancellor Drake's claims that it was the subject of no outside influence. The issue was the subject of a New York Times editorial on September 14, 2007. Details emerged revealing that UCI had received criticism on the hire from California Chief Justice Ronald M. George, who criticized Chemerinsky's grasp of death penalty appeals, as well as a group of prominent Orange County Republicans and Los Angeles County Supervisor Michael D. Antonovich, who wanted to derail the appointment. Drake traveled over a weekend to Durham, North Carolina, and the two reached an agreement late Sunday evening. On September 17, Chemerinsky issued a joint press release with UCI Chancellor Michael V. Drake indicating that Chemerinsky would head the UCI Law School, stating our new law school will be founded on the bedrock principle of academic freedom. The Chancellor reiterated his lifelong, unqualified commitment to academic freedom, which extends to every faculty member, including deans and other senior administrators. UCI Extension From 2002 to 2007, Capella University, a for-profit, online institution, paid $500 per student to UCI Extension for each of the 36 students who transferred to Capella. This undisclosed financial arrangement resulted in a total payment of $12,000 to UCI. The payments, first reported in the Chronicle of Higher Education, were inadvertently revealed when Jeffrey Lamarca, a former student of UCI Extension and Capella, filed a public records request for correspondence between UCI and Capella. UCI Continuing Education Dean Gary Matkin announced the school would end the arrangement by October 31, 2007 and plans to place $12,000 into a scholarship fund for needy students. UCI officials represented that the agreement was legal per Department of Education regulations. However, UCI had tried to hide the payments and the arrangement was frequently criticized as unethical because it raised the possibility that school counselors might make recommendations to students based on financial incentives rather than the students' best interests. Allegations of anti-Semitism On November 30, 2007, the Office of Civil Rights of the United States Department of Education issued a report finding insufficient evidence in support of allegations that Jewish students at UCI were harassed and subjected to a hostile environment based on their national origin. The federal agency investigated a total of 13 alleged incidents of harassment that occurred between fall 2000 and December 2006, and determined that 5 were isolated acts that could not be addressed because they were reported more than 180 days after they occurred. Further, the agency considered these acts, which included a rock thrown at a Jewish student, the destruction of a Holocaust memorial display, and various threatening or harassing statements made to individual Jewish students, substantially different in nature as to be unrelated to the 8 other recurring acts it investigated, which included graffiti depicting swastikas on campus, events during an annual Zionist Awareness Week, exclusion of Jewish students during an anti-hate rally, and the wearing of graduation stalls signifying support for Hamas or Palestinian human rights. The agency ultimately found that none of the incidents leading to the allegations qualified as sufficiently severe, pervasive or persistent as to interfere with or limit the ability of an individual to participate in from the services, activities or privileges provided by UCI, and that university officials had acted appropriately in response to each incident. In December 2007, UCI administration has been cleared of anti-Semitism complaints by the U.S. Department of Education's Office for Civil Rights. Following a speech by Chancellor Michael Drake at the National Hillel meeting in Washington, D.C. In March 2008, Anti-Hate for Israel, along with 3 other Jewish organizations, issued a press release defending Drake and claiming that anti-Semitic activity was exaggerated. Since then, 20 current and former students issued a statement expressing concern over ongoing issues and Drake's handling of them. In May 2009, UC Irvine hosted a 2-week event titled Israel, The Politics of Genocide, hosted by the school's Muslim Student Union. Scheduled speakers included Cynthia McKinney and George Galloway. Opponents of the event described it as anti-Semitic, and have called for Chancellor Drake to condemn both the event and the sponsoring organization. He has declined to do so. One outdoor demonstration at this event included a display with an image of Jewish Holocaust victim Anne Frank wearing a keffiyeh, in an apparent attempt to draw an analogy between her sufferings and the plight of the Palestinians in the Palestinian territories. The pro-Israel campus advocacy group Stand With Us has described this image as offensive. In October 2009, students from UCI met with Hamas official Aziz Duwake on a university-sponsored trip to the West Bank under a program called the Olive Tree Initiative, a neutral, apolitical education group that studies the Arab-Israeli conflict. The meeting was questioned by parties in 2011, and the initial response from UCI was that the meeting was justified, as the education group was studying the different narratives that contribute to the current situation in the Middle East. After the Zionist Organization of America informed UCI about Hamas' nature and urged UCI to dissociate itself from the OTI, UCI referred to the meeting as a misstep. Many of these accusations were contradicted by many organizations and members of the group who were of pro-Israel and Jewish descent. In May 2010, 40 members of the faculty issued an open letter expressing concern about hate-promoting actions, including a statement that the Zionist Jew is a party of Satan, a statement by another MSU speaker that the Holocaust was unregistered trademark will that have given UCI a growing reputation as a center of hate and intolerance. Neither of the speakers had been named nor any students shown to have had any affiliation with such remarks. Arrests at Michael Oren Lecture UC Irvine attracted controversy in February 2010 when students disrupted a lecture by Israeli Ambassador Michael Oren. While the MSU had issued a statement condemning the university for inviting a man who took part in a culture that has no qualms with terrorizing the innocent, killing civilians, demolishing their homes and illegally occupying their land, they denied responsibility for the protests and said the students acted on their own. According to Kenneth Stern, director of the American Jewish Committee's Division on Antisemitism and Extremism, the UCI campus has had a long history of anti-Israel and anti-Semitic incidents, usually tied to its Muslim Student Union. Hecklers interrupted Oren's speech 10 times, with many students cheering them in support. Among other slogans, the hecklers yelled, "Michael Oren, propagating murder is not an expression of free speech, killers," and "How many Palestinians did you kill?" After the fourth disruption, Oren took a 20-minute leave before returning to the podium. Before continuing he said, unregistered trademark. They spent most of my life living in and studying the Middle East, and one of the great and eternal cultural facets of the Middle East is hospitality. Even if you do not agree with them, even if they're unregistered trademark free, ostensibly your enemy. Euro unregistered trademark M. Your guest here and Euro unregistered trademark M. Asking for the Middle Eastern hospitality for your guest, Euro unregistered trademark They come into your house. By the end of the program, 11 UC Irvine and Riverside students were reportedly arrested. According to New University newspaper, 11 students were charged with Section 403 of the UCIPD Penal Code Euro disrupting a public event on the University Euro unregistered trademark S property, for their actions. 9 were enrolled at UCI and 3 were from UCR. During the event, UCI Chancellor Michael Drake and Political Science Department Chair Mark Petrarca chided the protesting crowd and called the disruptions embarrassing. At one point, Chairman Petrarca yelled "Shame on you" to the heckling crowd. In a statement issued the next day, UCI Chancellor Drake called the students' behavior intolerable, saying that freedom of speech is among the most fundamental, and among the most cherished of the bedrock values our nation is built upon. UCI Law School Dean Erwin Chemerinsky also condemned the disruptions. He stated, "Imagine if they had brought their own speaker and that person had been shouted down. There would be no free speech. There is no right to a Euro heckler a Euro unregistered trademark S veto a Euro unregistered trademark." In response, the universities suspended the group for the 2010 Euro 2011 school year and the group will undergo a probationary period for the following year. In addition, the members will be responsible for completing a collective 50 community service hours before the group can be reinstated. The Muslim Student Union has appealed the suspension. The punishment was later modified to 1 academic quarter, 100 hours of community service, and 2 years probation. The Zionist Organization of America, describing UCI as a campus that permitted bigotry, has called for college-bound students and financial donors to avoid UCI. Student government flag controversy. In March 2015, the legislative branch of the campus undergraduate student government, the ASUCI, voted in favor of a resolution that would have banned all flags from a shared inner workroom in the undergraduate student government's offices, the text of which partially stating that the American flag has been flown in instances of colonialism and imperialism, and freedom of speech, in a space that aims to be as inclusive as possible, can be interpreted as hate speech. After the student government's president expressed his opposition to the resolution in a public social media post, the resolution became controversial, with criticism and support from students and non-students. The student representatives who voted in favor of the ban experienced intense harassment and received numerous death threats. The university administration called the ban misguided, stating only the views of a handful of students passing a resolution do not represent the opinions of the nearly 30,000 students on this campus, and have no influence on the policies and practices of the University Euro, and the executive branch of the Student Council vetoed the ban. During the controversy, California State Senator Janet Nguyen said that the state constitution could be amended to prohibit the banning of the American flag at taxpayer-funded campuses. Numerous professors and students from universities across the state have signed a letter of support for the students who passed the resolution, written in response to increasing hostility, death threats, and racial slurs. UC Irvine Chancellor Howard Gilman initially called the vote outrageous and indefensible, and stated that the campus would install additional flag poles. After criticism from students, faculty and others, however, Gilman published a conciliatory op-ed in the Los Angeles Times, urging a stop to the harassment of students and stating that criticism of the United States flag is a feature of university life and a measure of a free society. Notable people. As of 2011, UCI has more than 124,000 alumni. As with any large university, many UC Irvine alumni have achieved fame after graduating. These people include athletes, Broadway, film, and television actors, international concert pianist and arts entrepreneur Kevin Kwan Lukes, astronaut Tracy Caldwell Dyson, and technological innovators. The UC Irvine Writing Program has produced a number of authors, such as Michael Chabon, James McMichael, Ron Carlson, Robert Peters, Alice Sebold, Amy Bender, Richard Ford, Yusuf Kumanyika, Marty Limch, Leonard Chang and T. Jefferson Parker. More recent alumni include Glenn David Gould, Mael Malloy, Alex Espinoza, Matt Summerall, and Joshua Ferris. 3 faculty members have been honored with the Nobel Prize. In 1995, 2 UCI professors earned the Nobel Prize. Dr. Frank Sherwood Rowland won in chemistry and Dr. Frederick Raines won in physics. In 2004, Dr. Erwin Rose, professor at the School of Medicine, was awarded the Nobel Prize in chemistry, along with faculty from the Technion. In addition, alumnus Michael Ramirez has twice won the Pulitzer Prize as an editorial cartoonist. Claude Yabre, class of '76, is one of the most influential magicians of the 20th and 21st centuries. Gregory Coleman, Masters in Fine Arts, 2005, was an accomplished classical guitarist, recording artist, composer, arranger and educator. Ralph J. Cicerone, an Earth System Science professor and former chancellor of UCI, is currently president of the National Academy of Sciences. Faculty members who have taught literary criticism and critical theory at UCI have included Jacques Derrida, Murray Krieger and Wolfgang Iser, and visiting professors in these fields have included Judith Butler, Slavoj Angstrom 1/2 ear 3/4 ek, Giorgio Agamben, Barbara Johnson, Frederick Jameson, Elizabeth Gross, and Apermilshan Balabar. Movie directors who attended UCI include M.C.G., Joseph Andrew McLean and Robert Bocage, director of Spike. Other notable alumni include American interdisciplinary artist Kim Victoria Abeles and Danny Pang, an alleged Ponzi schemer featured on the CNBC television show American Greed. Major League Baseball players from UCI include Brady Anderson, Dylan Axelrod, Christian Bergman, Doug Linton, Sean Tracy and Gary Heerlock. See also, Anteater Recreation Center. References. External links, official website, UC Irvine Athletics website.